Today, celebrate Southern Oklahoma, from a high-flying Arbuckle adventure to a romantic country getaway and some of the best Mexican food north of the Red River.
Travel with AAA's Discover Oklahoma.
Hi, and welcome to AAA's Discover Oklahoma. I'm Jennifer Reynolds.
And I'm Dino Lawley.
We're coming to you this week from the new Chickasaw Nation Welcome Center off I-35 in Davis.
This is a very impressive welcome center. There's a Bedray chocolate retail store here. There's a dog park over here. Behind us, there's a playground where all the kids can run off that pent-up energy they have after riding in the car for a long time.
And if you need to figure out where you're going, you just walk inside the travel center. There are maps, there are brochures, they have an interactive kiosk where you can search for destinations and then print off your itinerary. They've got you covered.
They do.
And you don't have to go very far, as Dino Lawley found, to find some high adventure.
Is it normal to strap yourself onto a cable and slide across at a pretty good clip from one point to another? I don't know if it's normal, but it sure is fun and exhilarating. At the Air Donkey Zip Line in Davis, they have two pretty hard, fast rules.
Rule number one is to always pay attention to your guide and during the training to get yourself used to doing it safely. And rule number two is to have as much fun as you possibly can.
Now, before anyone can sign up for this very special, amazing bird's eye view of the beautiful Arbuckle Mountains, you'll have to sign a waiver, of course, and then it's safety training. Steve and his crew will patiently walk you through everything. This morning, our guides are Tyler and Steve's wife, Rosalind.
Now you want to grab your claws right here. You're going to bring everything through that small loop.
Safety is number one. They'll teach you how to brake or even go faster, because obviously people of different weights will ride differently.
But the heavier people will go faster. This is one of those sports where if you're heavier, sometimes it's better, especially if it's windy. But you have to learn to brake and slow yourself down, which basically we do that just with a gloved hand. So you have to kind of get used to just how much braking. Ultimately, we'll stop all the riders before they hit the pole. That's my motto. Dino doesn't hit the pole.
Yes, I wanted to avoid that too. Now, the folks here do like for you to participate and not just sit there. Your first test comes on a bunny slope of sorts, and then it's a quick ride up a hill to start what I referred to as a giant jungle gym in the sky. Part ropes course and part circus training in a way. We were all ready for the slow climb up before the very fast trip to that first pole. There's a succession of 6 lines here, with the longest one being around 1,800 feet. But there's nothing like that rush of excitement when you take off. My fellow zipliners were all having a blast. Now, I've been told before in my life and career to go jump or run off a cliff, but I've never really done it. You see, on this portion of the trip, you are told to run until your feet are completely off the ground and you are literally going off a cliff. In all seriousness, while there is no shortage of adrenaline, there's a peacefulness that came over me as I flew over the Arbuckle Mountains, especially this quarry. And as Steve, who is a former biologist, brought up, you're flying over an amazing history lesson.
And one of our zip lines, from the start to the end, you go across 250 million years of geology that's laying on its side.
Now, 10 years old is as young as they like to go, and on the upward end of the age, people aged 78 and 83 have ridden and loved it. You also need to be between 80 and 250 pounds.
There are people that come here and they've zip-lined in other places, Costa Rica, and they're all proud of themselves, and I'm glad they did that. But when they get on the top of some of our towers, they don't want to go, because it just seems different. It seems like you're higher when you're really not, but it's open country. So one thing about it, everyone leaves with a smile on their face.
It was a blast. It was a lot of fun. I mean, I had a really great time. It was a lot better than being in school. It was fun. It was really fun.
To reserve your spot for high-flying fun, just go to the Discover Oklahoma page at travelok.com.
I've got to tell you, I had an absolute blast zip lining with them, and the views up there were actually spectacular.
Now, if you want adventure, but maybe you don't want to defy gravity, not to worry. Our Shell Wagner has found the perfect place for you.
Remember when driving was fun, before it was a commute? When getting behind the wheel meant adventure and discovery? It turns out ATVing recalls that old excitement, and off-roaders from all over are blogging about the trails at Crossbar Ranch Park, in the heart of the Arbuckle Mountains.
We have created 46 miles of trails.
It's an enormous slice of scenic backcountry that for years was off limits to all but a handful of people.
Basically, it's 6,500 acres of untouched, pristine wilderness.
For well over a century, this was private property, a working cattle ranch, until the city of Davis bought it in the 1990s as an extension of Turner Falls Park, an area already noted for its rugged beauty and diversity, elements that make for a great ride.
We have some very technical, challenging trails, a lot of trees, a lot of elevation change, rocks, just about everything but sand. It constantly changes. It challenges you both mentally and physically. But when you get through it, you've just got this huge grin on your face. You know you've been somewhere. You know you've done something, and you've conquered something.
For ATVing rookies like myself, there's even a nice flat grass track. You can make the loop at a leisurely pace. You don't have to be a speed demon. In fact, the fastest growing faction of off-roading enthusiasts is in the over 50 crowd.
They just want to just piddle around and enjoy themselves and enjoy the scenery.
No matter their mode of transportation.
Right now we are open to motorcycles, ATVs, the UTVs.
Mountain bikers are also welcome, as are equestrians. The view is a perpetually changing mosaic of rocks and cedars, towering hardwoods, and trickling creeks. But there's one uncontested highlight, a standout spot on top that leaves most riders speechless.
You're looking down on the whole ranch, and it's breathtaking. I mean, you're up there and it's peaceful. Even when there's riders here, you don't hear them on that summit. And it's really, you feel close to God. I mean, it makes, you get chills.
When's the last time you got chills, the good kind, from driving? Probably hasn't happened for a while, not during your commute anyway. At the Crossbar Ranch in Davis, I'm Shell Wagner.
For more information on Crossbar Ranch Park, just go to the Discover Oklahoma page at travelok.com.
Well, here's a nifty little item you're going to want. It's hot off the presses, the brand new Oklahoma Travel Guide. You'll need it the next time you want to plan a trip around the state.
It's just invaluable. It has a ton of information for you about attractions and restaurants and so forth statewide.
And it's easy to get. Just go to travelok.com and click on free brochures to get your copy. But don't go anywhere just yet, because when we come back, we've got a restful retreat for you. Southern Oklahoma hospitality when AAA's Discover Oklahoma continues.
We had some family members that had switched to AAA, and they kept telling us how much money they were saving, and found out they could save us money too, and so we ended up switching. We have 3 kids, and there's not a lot of money left at the end of every month. It ended up saving us quite a bit. Our car insurance alone saved us probably about $600. Any money you can save during the month and have some left over, that's a pretty big deal. Having insurance is important. Having affordable insurance that you can trust is a blessing.
Approximately a year and a half ago, my friend Gary Wise, who I go to church with, had become a AAA agency, and he had asked me, he said, let's just check, see what we can do.
We tried to compare apples to apples to his current coverage.
And my premium went down $800 for the same insurance for this house. I was tickled. I mean, $800 is a lot of money. Go see Gary. Get your AAA insurance. It's head and shoulders above the rest of the companies.
Welcome back to AAA's Discover Oklahoma. We are exploring all the great places in South Central Oklahoma, and there is so much to do now.
There is, absolutely. Now I have to tell you that after all the four-wheeling and all the zip lining, I think I'm ready to relax and maybe just sit in a porch swing.
You know what? You asked for it, you get it, because that's how we roll here on Discover Oklahoma. We have the perfect place for you, right down Highway 7. There's no hint of this imposing house from the highway, no telltale grand entrance, no fanfare. A lot like happiness, it's something you can only find if you're looking for it. Built by a territorial doctor back in 1898, the Pecan Valley Inn Bed and Breakfast in Davis has long been the place to go to feel better.
I think what's peaceful, to come outside and you can hear the birds, you can hear the wind rustling through the leaves. Just sit on the front porch. I mean, they can come and just enjoy. People will come and lay in the hammock, and there's an opening between the cedar trees, and they can look up and see all the stars that they can't see in Dallas or Fort Worth or Oklahoma City. So they really enjoy getting out and looking at the stars.
The inside of the house is just as enchanting. The parlor is laced with photos and mementos from another time.
This old house is certainly, gives you a sense of history.
And you'll be smitten with the old-fashioned craftsmanship, especially the beautiful trim work.
The builders brought the wood across the Red River in a wagon, and then they camped out here on the grounds for several months building this house. And I'm just amazed that with no electricity and no saws, everything's done by hand.
Janet and her son have spent years restoring the house by hand, making this retreat both historically accurate and restful. Each of the distinctly decorated guest suites comes with a luxurious claw-footed tub. Miss Laura's room is named for the doctor's daughter, who saw this property through many decades, living in the house until she was 98.
That's a very popular room because it's feminine but yet not fussy.
Some rooms pay homage to other members of the doctor's family, while the Minder's suite honors Janet's own folks. But no matter which room you claim, comfort is a priority here, and the quiet countryside guarantees you'll log a perfect night's sleep, only to awaken to a quiet gourmet breakfast. You can then settle in for a full day of dawdling and feel good knowing this place is just what the doctor ordered. To make your reservations at Pecan Valley Inn Bed and Breakfast, just go to the Discover Oklahoma page at travelok.com.
All right, you need to stay with us.
Because coming up, we are smoking. What are we smoking, you ask? Well, I'll tell you, it's ribs. We'll take you to lunch when AAA's Discover Oklahoma continues in just 2 short minutes.
We had some family members that had switched to AAA, and they kept telling us how much money they were saving and kept telling us that we should look into it. And so we decided that we should go see what we could do. We have 3 kids, and there's not a lot of money left at the end of every month, and so any penny that you can save is a big deal. AAA was something I always heard of when I was growing up, and when people talked about it, they talked about it in a reliable way. And so when we switched to AAA, it was something that we just trusted from the beginning. It ended up saving us quite a bit. Our car insurance alone saved us probably about $600 a year. Our life insurance, we were actually able to double our coverage, and our premium still went down close to about half as well. Again, it's not something you ever want to think about as you grow up and become a grown-up with a family, but it's definitely something that you need to have. Having insurance is important. Having affordable insurance that you can trust is a blessing.
Welcome back to AAA's Discover Oklahoma. Tonight we're coming to you from the new Chickasaw Nation Welcome Center in Davis.
This is just a gorgeous place full of neat gift ideas and souvenirs, and they're all either Chickasaw made, Native American made, or Oklahoma made. And I'm not sure what it is about this show, but no matter when we record it, It always seems to be lunchtime.
And you think that was done on purpose. Of course it was. That's one of the perks of the job. Now, as a matter of fact, Shel Wagner just called, and she would like to meet us at one of her favorite eateries, and guess what? It's not that far from here.
A growing faction of barbecue believers have begun making a regular pilgrimage to this little cabin, perched along Highway 77, just a short jog from I-35 near Davis.
So we get a lot of people from the Dallas area, we get a lot of people from Edmond, Oklahoma City area.
Inside, you'll find folks gnawing happily on ribs and savoring brisket so melty it's a bit like butter. Those in the know come early and stake out one of the coveted tables, or cruise past the drive-through window. But no matter what time or how you come, you'll have a pretty good chance of meeting some of the Wells family. Husband and wife team Kobe and Bobby Wells are practically a blur, taking orders.
Come on, Bobby, I'll see you in a minute, bud.
Plating orders. Do you ever leave here hungry?
Oh, God, no, you don't leave here hungry. If you do, it's your own fault.
Joe, don't let me down whenever I come in here.
And you know, if it doesn't go through the taste test of the family, it doesn't make it out to you.
Just to make sure they have room for it, some regulars eat dessert first. Strawberries on a cloud, sweet berries on fluffy white deliciousness. It's the secret recipe of great-grandmother Bobo, who still makes it fresh every morning. Kobe's dad, Joe, as in Smokin' Joe, keeps a steady stream of meats headed to the smokers. This whole operation was Joe's idea. You know, just a fun little hobby. That's how he described it to the family.
Just a part-time deal, just a couple days a week. We'd be able to come and go as we please. And that has ballooned into a full-time job where we never leave this place and we live here. And that's how this all started.
We opened the doors the very first day with a menu, and our menu was written on lined paper, and it was my handwriting. And I threatened everyone who used it because it was the only copy that we had.
Briskets are treated to a hickory smoke bath overnight, and the first of 3 daily batches of ribs go on at 7 a.m. so that they're turned out fresh throughout the day. Those ribs, the brisket, and the pork loin are otherworldly. And the smoked bologna? It had way more than just a first name. There's a good selection of sides, and the platters all come with Texas toast and onions and such. But it's the meats that you'll want to marry.
So, you know, everyone likes to order the 3-meat combo and pray that one of their friends who has never been here before orders the chicken, so that when it comes out, they can see the awe value on their face. It's kind of a shocker when it comes out and sets in front of you.
A little word to the wise, come hungry. The portion sizes will leave you aghast. A single dinner platter fed me for 3 full meals. Part of the beauty of Smokin' Joe's Barbecue is that it's also an RV park. So after you've polished off your 3-meat combo, you can roll yourself to your RV to take your nap. And that's where you can dream about your next meal at Smokin' Joe's Rib Ranch. In the majestic Arbuckle Mountains near Davis, I'm Shel Wagner.
For more information on Smokin' Joe's, including their menu, just go to the Discover Oklahoma page at travelok.com. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back.
We'll show you more Chickasaw country adventures.
Hang on for a whirlwind tour when AAA's Discover Oklahoma returns.
In early April of this year, we had one of the most violent hailstorms I've ever seen in my life. And my wife called me, and you could hear the noise over the telephone. By the time I got home, got out here from town, there was hail everywhere. Baseball, size hail, golf ball everywhere. My truck was beat to pieces. It was a pretty violent hailstorm. I called my AAA agent, Gary Wise, a friend of mine, asked him what the procedure was, give me the phone numbers, we need to turn this in.
We hope to always be there whenever they need us, and that is the most important client that we have, is the one that we're talking to at the time.
I feel AAA has treated me with the utmost respect. I feel like they went above and beyond to be respectful of our time and our property.
AAA definitely is there for the right reason. The president of the insurance company called and asked, you know, what could they do to help Woodward and help our clients in their time of need.
Welcome back. AAA makes this show possible and does a lot of other great things around our state. Here's a look at today's AAA.
Hello, Chuck May here with AAA Oklahoma. When you hear the name AAA, many of you probably think about roadside service or booking your next vacation through AAA Travel. But did you know that AAA Insurance is the fastest growing auto and home insurance company in Oklahoma? It's true. AAA Insurance offers a wide variety of discounts which allow us to offer competitive premiums along with thorough insurance coverage to our customers. In addition, AAA has 41 insurance offices across the state of Oklahoma to make it easy and convenient to do business with us. Call us or go to AAA.com to get a free auto or home insurance quote. And while you're at it, ask us about life insurance too. Our reputation for quality customer service is unmatched, and you are backed with a name you know and trust. Until next time, may the road lead you to exciting new discoveries. Whether it's insurance, travel, or peace of mind on the road, think AAA every day.
AAA for the ones who matter most to you. You know, I haven't seen our man Jeff Roberts since we got here to Davis.
That's on purpose because I sent him out on a treasure hunt of sorts. I told him if he could find 5 tourism attractions in this area, we'd be nice and let him drive our new Ford Explorer all the way home.
Well, let's see what he came up with.
There is so much to see and do in Davis that it will make you dizzy. My advice, start out here at Nancy Fulton's Original Fried Pies. I mean, look at all those flavors. How in the world do you choose? I wonder what the favorite is.
Probably apricot, because I like apricot. And everybody says, what's your best pie? So I said, apricot.
Nancy tells me that this is an old family recipe.
It's the same crust that my grandma made. My grandma made fried pies in the Arbuckle Mountains on a ranch. I don't know what ranch. And ranch hands carried them out and worked cattle and shot rattlesnake by horseback.
You know, it sounds like this was the first takeout food in the Old West, partner. In fact, I'm going to get about a dozen to go horseback riding.
Have you ever ridden before?
Our next stop is time to saddle up. Arbuckle Trail Rides, where Pete and Sherry Wolf will put you in the saddle and give you a tour through the Arbuckles.
I love to teach people how to ride because it's a difficult thing to learn to do right, to do really correctly. And so we enjoy teaching people the finer points of riding.
Say, Sherry, any advice for a tenderfoot like me?
Keep a leg on each side and your fanny in the middle. Best tip I know.
Sounds like a plan. Man, would you look how close we are to Turner Falls? So everybody's heard about Lookout Point. You know, there's all kinds of stories about Lookout Point in any kind of city. But at Turner Falls, it is absolutely breathtaking. And you gotta love these telescopes. I mean, you can zoom in and almost see the polka dots on the bathing suits down below. Hey, I think I can see Rose's Grocery from here. I heard they rent canoes so you can float down the Ouachita.
If you're an outdoorsman and you like canoeing and you just like an adventurous experience.
That's me, Mr. Adventure.
It's just a real good float trip. It's kind of a family deal. And you just float down through here and you can get out and swim. You can pull over and picnic, stop and fish if you bring your fishing poles.
Hey, she doesn't even need a pole. That's awesome. Needless to say, I've worked up quite an appetite since devouring those fried pies. What's this? Mexican food? Would you look at this place? It's packed. And this looks like a family operation to boot.
I was working away from home, and I sold a little property that I had in Mexico. And then I borrowed some money from friends. And that's the way we started.
Homemade Mexican food, grilled fish, steak, and an enchilada plate. Mm-mm. And if you have never tried a fried tamale, hello. You know, I'd say this little venture has paid off for Jose and his family. And of course, for everyone who stops in here at Las Cascadas. Yum. So, feeling dizzy yet? Mm-hmm. What'd I tell you? In Davis, I'm Jeff Roberts.
That's our show for this week. A big thanks to the folks at the Chickasaw Nation Welcome Center at the I-35 exit at Davis for hosting us this week.
And we want to thank you very much for watching.
Next week, we'll introduce you to the family that's all about RVs. Get ready to hit the road to some fun destinations in your home away from home. Find out about the whole culture surrounding RVing and go for an exciting four-wheeling ride at Lake Murray. Hope you'll join us.
So until next time, remember,
there's always something to discover in Oklahoma. production vehicle provided by the Oklahoma Ford Dealers, official partner of the Oklahoma Tourism and Recreation Department.